this will create a new file for you. Do you want to save the modification? Yes. So once you create a new file here, you can definitely also copy and paste the code you just have and over here and save it as the name that you want and save it as the format that you want. That will work as well. So there's actually like two methods you can use over here. But for using my method, don't worry, it's safe as a TXT, but because eventually it will be correct by the program itself. Okay.
So you were able to open an empty.asm file. How did you do that? Did you open an existing one and then click new open?
Could you mention your question again? Sorry, I wasn't hearing you that clear.
Under examples, how do you open a new .asm instead of a new .txt? Do you do a right click, new?
Okay. So do you want to, if you want to do that, I would say the more easier way is to it's from the ASMID window. If you're at a terminal, hit on new and just hit file and new. Okay. It's prompt you, are you going to create a new file? Click yes. And from here, even though you have nothing over here, you can just click on file and save as. And right now you will figure we are still in the same directory, which is the example here. Name it the way you want. For example, just want to say 346, just for example. And down here, save as type. That's a little bit weird. Let me just open it again. Not sure why it doesn't give you the option to save as assembly. Basically, I believe this way, if you put in your name and with .asm, even though the type might show TXT, but at least it's going to be a recognizable form by the ASMID itself. So if you're able to open it, and I think one of the way you can also tell if it's open correctly is by kind of like the color of the syntax here. If it's recognized correctly after you save it as ASM, you will figure out this is kind of called the opcode and this is called a number. The operand are going to show different color, and you will have something looks similar like this if it's opened correctly. And I also received a question. If you're able to get the sample problem done, if it means that you're done for today, I can say it's basically it. If you're able to run your sample program, you're mostly done. But please also make sure you take a look at a few questions that is listed on lab 1. So that's going to be the thing we're going to do next Monday, I believe. And once I guiding you through to finish the sample program, I'm going to just kind of do you guys some keyword and some aspect you might want to check to answering those questions, some useful tips. So if you feel like you can do the research on your own about all the question, you have the assembly program done, I will say you're done for today. And if you want to hear some advice from me, you can definitely stay until the end of the lecture. And I think we start from 5, right? I think today we're gonna have a little bit short lab. So expect this end around 7 to 7:30 because we're actually close to the last tab over here. And if you're interested to take a look to listen to my advice to your research on lab 1, you can stay on to the end. Okay, so I have one question. So, okay, so again, we're having some problem about the lab report itself. So like I mentioned it very early in the lab section, you will mostly likely find 2 types of question in your lab sheet. One is either going to be some question answering question to show an example. If you go on the lab 1 sheet, okay. You'll find out that we're having some question, just like asking you the difference between a few type of memory. So for those type of question, you do need to issue a Word file or a text file, whatever you feel like comfortable to work with, and then answer each of the question per asking. And in the future, you might also encounter another type of question, which is asking you to build a assembly program to do specific function. For those type of question, you don't need to write a whole written report to explain your code and anything. You just need to provide your actual file that contain your code. And you do need to add some comments with your code in that same file to show that you're understanding what you're doing for each line of your code. I'm gonna teach how to leave comments in the future once we building our first assembly. So for those type of question, you just need to submit your code. For the answering question, you do need to include your answer for the question. And all of the assignment is going to be collected by the Dropbox section in our Beachboard. So I will create a folder soon for our lab one. You can just basically throw in every folder. You can separate as many files as you want. It will be showing to me under your name, so I can easily to see your whole submission. And usually the due date for the assignment is basically the 1 week after I first introduce the question that you guys will have to do. Okay.
Oh, Samson, I didn't hear that part. Did you say we have to mention your name in the comment? Is that what you said?
Oh no, you just have to leave the comments along with your code. So the comments is like you're trying to explain to yourself and other developer what you are doing for this line of the code. I'm gonna teach you guys how to leave comments within the code, but basically it's a short description of what of this specific line is doing right now. And the reason why I want you guys to leave it is because I want you guys to make sure you understand each of the line you write to make sure that you're having a correct logic of your code and showing me that you're actually understanding what you're writing in your code.
Professor, for the ASM, all my code is in black. Does that matter?
Okay, so if that's the case, okay, let's just jump back to, okay, I think we're done with the lab assignment part. Let's just jump to the main part over here and see if we can finish in the time, because I think we're running a little bit late. If it's showing all black, let me see if you can try to see if you can save it as, and like it's showing over here. This is saying as this kind of type. So please take a look if you have the same option here.
Okay.
You save it like this.
I don't have the option for that. I only have all files for now.
Okay, so if that's the case, there's a let me code it's like a shortcut. It's probably not the most official way to do it, but I find that it's always handy to work like that way. Okay. So right now, assume you have all black over here. Okay, copy the whole code you have over here.
Okay.
And go on to File and Open.
Copy, File, Open. Okay.
Okay, and right now, just click on a random ASM file that is over here. For example, okay. EX file over here. Okay.
ASM file, okay.
Just everyone, just any .asm file. And once you open it, it should show something similar like this, like with different color.
Why does it say SYM for mine?
You can ignore that for now. Let's just focus on the ASM right now. I think SYM. I didn't see any SYM folder over here.
Like I'm opening the example file that I've been opening, and I go through all of it. It says SYM for all of them. I don't see the SM
okay.
ASM actually.
So what about in your file type? Can you see any file that is under the type code assembly source?
Assembly source.